A lot of strong offensive opportunities for the Trojans in the paint.
And we're going to get a good look at these Trojans as A-State controls the tip-off. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. These are brought to you by Arkansas Federal Credit Union. We talked about Chris Fields, Christian Willis, Marquis, Eaton. He is the go-to guy for the Red Wolves. And right on cue, the Red Wolves get it going, and that is Willis knocking down the triple.
Willis, a nice shooter. Didn't have a big game last night, but has shot the ball really well for Arkansas State. Red Wolves like to see him knock down the early shot to get this thing going.
Again, a new starting lineup for the Trojans. CJ
Overs and not a lot of strong offensive opportunities for the Trojans in the paint.
And we're going to get a good look at these Trojans as A-State controls the tip-off. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. These are brought to you by Arkansas Federal Credit Union. We talked about Chris Fields, Christian Willis, Marquis, Eaton. He is the go-to guy for the Red Wolves. And right on cue, the Red Wolves get it going, and that is Willis knocking down the triple.
Willis, a nice shooter. Didn't have a big game last night, but has shot the ball really well for Arkansas State. Red Wolves like to see him knock down the early shot to get this thing going.
Again, a new starting lineup for the Trojans. C.J. White, the Parkview Patriot, getting the start. Marco Lukic, Ben Coupet Jr. He's been the offense that the Trojans have needed to get going, and Nikola Maric also. And, of course, we all know about Root Munyon, the preseason player of the year. He's a double-double, I don't want to say every night, but it feels like every night.
He's pretty dang close. You take it for granted at this point. He's so reliable in that area.
Trojans with the turnover is A-State looking to stay red hot. They were on fire Friday night against LittleRock, shot the ball extremely well in Jonesboro. And when these two teams meet up, Patrick, you've seen a lot of matchups. I've seen a lot of Red Wolves and Trojans matchups. It does not matter the record when these teams go head-to-head.
It's always a really fierce game, and it's amazing how many of these games are closely contested. Since these two teams became Sun Belt members, it's something like 33-31 or something in the series since both teams joined the league.
Well, you said it. The Red Wolves got to like this start as Norshad Omier gets it going. He has been so special, and if you want to see two guys who are going to battle tonight, Root Munyon and Omier, these guys identical in the post. It's going to be a fun battle to watch them go to work.
Two of the best rebounders in the country, really, not just the Sun Belt, but the entire nation. Both these guys do a good job in terms of scoring the ball and working the glass in the paint.
White, top of the key as the shot clock winding down on the Trojans. C.J. White, deep three ball, that one off the mark, and A-State out of there with it as here comes the Red Wolves already up 5-0, and Mike Villato's team playing extremely well as of late. They swept Lafayette last weekend. They took care of business against LittleRock, and this team was almost left for dead early in the conference season, and now the Red Wolves, they're one of the hottest teams in the league.
They've really found their groove over the last 5-6 games. Shooting the ball really well from the floor, playing with more pace. I think that has helped them out. But just an offensive juggernaut right now, the most efficient offensive team in the league, and shooting almost 40% from the three-point line as a group.
Marquis Eaton has been so special for this squad. He loves playing in Jonesboro again. He's been everything and more, but Red Wolves get a little sloppy with it, and they'll go back to the Trojans.
Marcus Eaton, I have a feeling we're going to say his name a lot tonight because in the Jack Stevens Center, this guy has been absolutely insane in terms of the way he has shot the ball. In his career in Little Rock, he's shooting 60% overall and almost 80% from three.
Munyon down in the post, double team, tries to get it to go, a clean block, and now we're going to get a foul on Munyon.
And, Little Rock right now, they don't look in sync on offense, and they didn't look in sync on the offensive end to start yesterday's game. This Arkansas State defense just gave Little Rock trouble for really 35 minutes of yesterday's game and off to a strong start again today.
As you said it, Darrell Walker on the postgame last night. It's really simple for these Trojans. They have just got to knock down shots, have not been able to get any offense going. Of course, Marquis Noel no longer part of the team. He opted out of the 21 season, was averaging over 14 points a game, and they certainly missed the scoring. That shot off the mark. Nice offensive board. There were 5 jerseys in there for the Trojans, unable to get it, and we'll reset the shot clock for A-State.
And if you're Little Rock, you got to make some shots, because if you don't make shots, it kind of nullifies your paint advantage. You've got such good bigs, and as Eaton knocks down the jumper there, and Root Munyon and Nikola Maric, if you don't knock down shots and space the floor, it makes it tough to go inside.
Well, you couldn't have dreamed of a better start for Arkansas State, picking up right where they left off on Friday night in Jonesboro. A quick foul. But where does the scoring come from for Little Rock? You obviously no longer have Noel on this team, and they're just looking for anything. Darrell Walker messing and playing with his starting rotation so far.
Oh, I think when you look on the floor right now, Ben Coupette and Marco Lukic right now with the basketball, those are two guys who have shown that they can do it before. They are capable outside shooters, but they've got to start making some shots. Ben Coupette had a nice shooting game in Jonesboro, but overall has struggled for much of his conference season to knock down outside shots.
Really the only bright spot offensively last night, but there's a bright spot for the Trojans as they get on the board first. Nikola Maric, you know you're going to see him featured a lot down in the post today.
And Arkansas State did a great job of doubling Nikola Maric last night and making him uncomfortable, forced him into 4 turnovers, really with aggressive double teams in the post.
This season, of course, so unique. You see these two teams battle on a Friday. It was supposed to be on Wednesday, but had some ice here in the state of Arkansas that backed that game up 48 hours, and they play on Friday. And I got to tell you what, A-State happy they played on Friday. Happy they're playing this afternoon as Wesley gets on the board.
Yeah, and that was a great find. I think that was Marquis Eaton, along the baseline, slipped it out to the free throw line for the jump shot. He comes into this weekend leading the Sun Belt in assists in Sun Belt games. I want to say he's 6th in scoring over that same span, so playing some of the best basketball of his career.
4 different Red Wolves have already scored as Root Munyon drives to the hoop, and he's going to shoot a couple. And it has been all Arkansas State to open up this ball game here in Little Rock. The Red Wolves, the hot Rio Mira couple. Wesley's hit 2. The only Red Wolf who started this ball game who hasn't scored so far, Caleb Fields, because he hasn't taken a shot attempt yet.
Yeah, and I got a feeling he's going to score. You know, he's a guy that gets it done. He's really good at getting to the foul line and making his foul shots. He had a nice game last night in Jonesboro. So Red Wolves have frankly picked up right where they left off, making Little Rock uncomfortable when the Trojans have the ball in their hands. And Little Rock's defense right now having a tough time finding an answer for what Arkansas State's doing on offense.
It's a good time of the year to be playing your best basketball as Munyon goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. A-State with an early 9-3 lead in this rivalry game. It's always fun when Little Rock and A-State go head-to-head. There have been so many battles left and right. I think back to that 2014 ball game, which was absolutely crazy one down in New Orleans. And Little Rock trying to get back in this ball game. That'll help, a deep 3 ball. And, man, we've talked about Marco, how big he needs to be for Little Rock offensively.
And that's one way to get the three-point shooting going. You come up with a steal on the 1-3-1. Look at him. Puts the ball on the floor, almost has it taken away from him, tracks it down, and then buries the 3 from the wing.
Well, we just mentioned Caleb Fields, and he is limping off the court. He's going to go directly back to the locker room. That is not a sign you want to see if you're an Arkansas State fan. Not
at all. He is an absolute beast for Arkansas State. Had 13 points and 6 assists to go along with a couple steals last night. Excellent player. Really helps him in a lot of areas.
He's back with the trainers as they take a look at him. This guy looks mighty fine as Eaton knocks down a triple from beyond the arc.
Again, I'm going to keep saying this because it's so incredible. In his career in Little Rock, 60% from the floor, 78.5% from 3. He loves playing in this building.
Oh, you know he grew up watching a lot of these battles. It's Ben Coupette Jr. launches from deep. That one off the mark. And Coupette trying to get this Trojans offense going. Again, Little Rock only attempted 4 shots so far. A-State. Really 7-point lead in this ball game. Little Rock 0 of 2 so far. And they get the turnover out of there with it. Red Wolves, 3 of their last 3 until that turnover. And we mentioned it. Trojans just looking for a point guard, looking for someone to facilitate this offense.
Yeah, right now, if you're Little Rock, you're looking for someone to help you break down the defense. Last night, they had a lot of trouble getting those entry passes into the post. And Little Rock's a team that likes to play inside out. And when you're having trouble getting the ball entry to the post and you're having trouble making 3-point shots, then you kind of need somebody to help you break down the defense, and they just didn't have that last night.
C.J. White from the short corner, that one off the mark, but right place, right time for Root Munyon as he tries to go inside. Coupette comes down with it. He goes up top. He can't finish. Little Rock crashing the boards, and they decide to reset as Coupette fires over to Lukic, step back, and he's going to get called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, you saw that right arm extend. The official was all over it. Good call, offensive foul there on Marco Lukic.
Well, the Red Wolves are feeling right at home down here in Little Rock as they are 5 of 6 from the field. Again, Eaton's already up to 5. Meanwhile, Little Rock 0 for their last 4.
Arkansas State has turned the ball over a couple times in its last 3 possessions. Other than that, it's been all gravy for the Red Wolves here to start.
Munyon tried to poke it away. Red Wolves able to maintain possession. And they are just swarming the big fella Jackson. He's looking for anybody. Back outside. A nice hook shot. Not able to drop. LittleRock out of there with it.
Yeah, good drive there by Christian Willis. Just couldn't get it to fall.
Inside to the big fella for LittleRock, Marquis, and they really need to get him going if they want to get back into this.
And to me, that's where LittleRock has to try to take advantage tonight. When Arkansas State misses shots, push the ball in transition, they had such little success against the Red Wolves set defense last night in Jonesboro.
Marquis Eaton already putting his thumbprint on this ballgame. 7 points from Marquis. He's 3 of 4 from the field, and he is just a special offensive player for these Red Wolves.
He is playing some of the best basketball of his career again. Came into this weekend, leading the Sun Belt in assists in Sun Belt games and was 6th in scoring. Just getting it done every which way on offense.
Tried to challenge the big fellow Amir. He gets the rejection. Then Marquis follows suit with a rejection of his own. LittleRock off and running. Got a football score early in this one, 14-7 as A-State leads this one, looking for the sweep over their rivals. Marquis with the pump fake goes up top, and he's able to finish inside.
Great move there by Nicola Marquis. It'll be interesting if Arkansas State goes back to that aggressive double teaming of Marquis when he catches that ball, even that deep, or that far from the basket, I should say, in the post.
Turnover for the Red Wolves. Here comes C.J. White. I think he's going to get called for the offensive push, and that's exactly what they get him with.
Yeah, that's the second time in this game already LittleRock has been hit with an offensive foul when a player's extended that right arm.
CJ not necessarily agreeing with the call there, as you can hear the Trojan faithful again. This is always usually one of the most lively crowds you're going to see in Jonesboro or in LittleRock when these two teams link up. And I can't imagine what it would look like without, obviously, the social distancing and the COVID-19 protocols. But these are atmospheres for in-state basketball here in Arkansas that are second to none.
Oh, it would be packed. I want to say the Chris Beard year, the 2016 season, that Arkansas State crowd was something like, was it like 5,700 or something? You know, the building holds 56. We were slightly over capacity that year.
It's no problem. Short corner shot off the mark for A-State, and Farrington can't get it to go. He started off red hot yesterday for the Red Wolves, knocking down some threes. Had a big first half for A-State as they jumped all over LittleRock, and it's been a slow start for the Trojans, but again, just down 5.
Yeah, Arkansas State started out red hot, have slowed down a little bit. Still shooting 60% from the floor, but Red Wolves hit 4 of their first 5 shots. Nicola
Marquis taking the shot from inside the arc. That one off the mark. Nice rebound by O'Meara. And here comes Marquis Eaton. As you said, A-State 6 of 10 from the field. LittleRock 4 of 12. And Red Wolves cooling off just a little bit, but, man, they have been very impressive offensively.
Yeah, they really have been, and picking up where they left off last night as the Red Wolves missed a 3-point shot there. But they just got whatever they wanted last night on the offensive end. Early on, they were hitting 3-point shots, getting layups in transition, making 3-pointers in the half court, just did everything.
A-State playing with a lot of confidence, and a lot of confidence there from C.J. White, but that 3 off of the mark. A-State running out of there with it. They'll try to add to their lead. And you got a feeling Darrell Walker wanted that shot back from C.J. White, but he's showing a lot of trust in White. The former Parkview Patriot played his high school ball right down the road, the SMU transfer, and you'd like to see what he can do down the final stretch of the season. Yeah,
his minutes have increased, and those are the shots that they're going to want him to take and make.
Both these teams on a bit of a scoring drought, looking for a little offense. A-State up 5.
Finally,
4 points per game. Shows how closely contested these two teams have been over the last 30-plus years.
I just think back to those Steve Shields and John Brady days not too long ago. These teams would battle left and right, and if you know the history, you know there's some history.
Those were some wars. And I'll say, John Brady, one of the funniest head coaches I ever got to listen to sitting on the sideline. The way he would talk to his team and the officials and the other coaches, he was right, man. He was hilarious.
Oh, man. Fun times remembering those days. And, again, we add another chapter to this storied rivalry as LittleRock turns it over. A-State trying to make it a clean sweep in this 2021 season, and we're going to get a quick foul. That's going to go against Ben Coupet.
And both teams right now on a bit of a scoring drought. Arkansas State 3 minutes and 14 seconds. LittleRock 2.5 minutes without a point.
And the funny thing about this rivalry, too, is only 5 guys on total from both rosters from the state of Arkansas. But at the same time, even though so many of these guys playing on the court are not from the state, you can feel the intensity. They really, really want to win this ball game.
Yeah, they pick it up from the coaches and the people around the program. From day one, they know that this is the biggest game of the year. They're ready for this matchup from the day they step foot on campus.
Deep 3 ball. That one off the mark from Feltz, and LittleRock able to get out of there with it.
We'll see if the Trojans can settle down on offense here. Still looking to find a groove. Just 4 of their first 13 from the floor.
A-State started red hot. They've cooled off a bit. This guy's starting to heat up. Root Munyon. He's up to 3 points.
And that's one way to do it. Get it to Root Munyon in space. That time they let him put a couple dribbles on the floor and get into the paint. He's just too big and too athletic to not finish that shot.
A-State drought a little over 4 minutes now. They've missed their last 4 shots, trying to get offense going as Darrell Walker preaches defense over to Coupette. We're going to get a foul, and I think they're going to get Coupette again on that one. Yep.
Going to be his second.
Now, that's not what you want to see if you're a Little Rock Trojan fan. Ben Coupette, 0 of 2 from the field to start this ball game. As you mentioned, Patrick, red hot last night in Jonesboro, but a quick 2 fouls.
Yeah, you hate to see it. It looks like Coach Walker is going to stick with him, at least as of now. You don't see him going to his bench for a substitution, so he's going to trust the senior to play smart for the final 9 minutes of the first half.
Now, Darrell Walker, as we mentioned on his postgame last night, he likes what he sees from his defense. It's just they have not been able to score the basketball, and it's always defense first. And it's really what led them to that Sun Belt title last season, but they were able to knock down shots and get some big scoring from guys like Kamani Johnson, now a Arkansas Razorback. But that's a nice defensive possession right there for the Trojans as we'll get a shot clock violation. Yeah,
last season, Little Rock was one of the most efficient offenses in the country. They led the Sun Belt in 2-point field goal percentage and 3-point field goal percentage. That's very rare. You don't see very often the same team do both. And they had one of the very best free throw rates in the country, not just in the Sun Belt, but were like top 5 in the country in terms of free throw rate. So they got to the foul line, they shot the 3-ball well, and they scored well in the paint. I mean, that's just a recipe for a very efficient offense. This year, they haven't had the same success.
Red Wolves getting a little sloppy. 4 turnovers over the last 6.5 minutes as they try to extend their lead. But C.J. White, pull-up jumper, he's able to knock it down, and all of a sudden, they got a 1-point ball game.
No more for the 3-ball, but last night hit a similar shot like that, kind of a mid-range jumper. Seems to be going to that shot to get himself back into a rhythm.
That's a 6-0 run for Little Rock. Not anymore. The run quickly ended by Wesley. That's a nice feed from O'Meara.
Wesley had a couple nice athletic plays early in yesterday's game, getting out in transition and finishing on the break. That time finishes in the paint.
White, heat check from way downtown. That one off the mark. And scrum for it, and we're going to get a jump ball.
Good hustle there by Wesley. Get on the floor for that ball.
Little Rock may have caught a break with that.
A lot of trouble.
Trojans possibly trying to add C.J. White to that list so they can get him going. But again, Marich, he's been such a big focal point of this offense throughout the entire season as Little Rock tries to snap that 3-game losing streak, and got a quick foul on Feltz.
And White is definitely a guy right now that the Trojans would like to see get going. Right now, someone outside of Ben Coupette and Marco Lukic need to find the ability to knock down some shots from the outside. Right now, that is what Little Rock is missing in its offense. They have 2 bruisers in the paint, but they need some guys to help them space the floor.
It's a foul fest here early on at the Jack Stevens Centers. A-State called for 2 quick ones. That one, again, going to go back to Feltz.
I was going to say, were both of those on Feltz?
They were. 2 fouls, 0 seconds.
Wow. Making his presence felt early in this one. He knocked down a couple threes last night for the Red Wolves. Shooting the ball well.
He is so deadly from beyond the arc. He loves to get those open shots. And, again, Feltz very aggressive on defense against White. He's not afraid if he does pick up a couple fouls.
Yeah, playing some nice D on C.J. White right now.
Not going to turn down the defense. And Vasuvic, a guy we have not seen a ton for Little Rock this season, checking into the ball game. That 3 from Coupette off the mark, but Jovan Stulich with the offensive rebound. They go back inside to Marich. Marich fighting his way through the lane, and he's able to get it to drop.
And he's just so strong. One thing Arkansas State did so well last night was that double team came early. At least so far in this one, it doesn't look like they've had the same flight of aggressiveness with those double teams on the pull and reach. And as a result, he's gotten going.
Marquis red hot, 4 of 5 from the field. He's up to 8 points, and now turnover from A-State. LittleRock got a chance to take the lead.
A-State just 9 turnovers in yesterday's game in total, 7 turnovers here in the first half for the Red Wolves.
Now, Coach Mike Villado not going to be a fan of that offense. 4 turnovers in the last 6.5 minutes for the Red Wolves. And again, we knew this was going to be a grind. These teams wondering how tired they were going to be after last night's ball game. And LittleRock looking fresh right now, but that shot off the mark. A-State out of there with it to the big fella. Lays it up and in. Nice bucket inside by O'Meara. He can do it all for the Red Wolves.
Yeah, great job running the floor by O'Meara, and a nice job there by Phelps to hit I guess you could call him the trail man there, to find O'Meara trailing in transition for the layup.
Well, the entire Trojan bench wanted to travel, didn't get the call, and A-State back up 3. They're in the bonus early in this one again. It's been a good back-and-forth ball game. The feed outside to Jovan Stulic. He'll try the 3-ball attempt. He wanted a foul, doesn't get it, and A-State out of there with it.
And Coach Walker is in agreement with Jovan Stulic. He was up out of his chair and talking to that official immediately. He thought Stulic had some extra contact on that 3-point attempt.
Red Wolves started red hot in this ball game. Now just 57% from the field as they try to get things going. Nice feed inside to Wesley. Wesley back outside of the 3-point specialist, and he does, and what he does is Phelps knocks down the triple.
Yeah, can't leave that guy open. Last night was 2 of 4 from deep. An efficient 3-point shooter. That's what that's his role on this Red Wolf team.
I can tell you right now, if Avery Phelps gets the ball beyond the arc and he's got a shot, he will take it. Red Wolves, when they do get a shot off, shooting very well. 3 of their last 3, they're up to 60% as CJ White answers with a triple of his own, and now White's starting to heat up a little bit.
And if you're White there, you like to see that ball drop. He's a guy that has struggled from the 3-point line over the last 10 games or so for the Trojans.
Wesley, the drive inside, and can't get the roll, and that ball's going to go the other way back to the Trojans. But like the aggressiveness from Wesley, again, Wesley with 4, O'Meara with 4, and we know this guy's not afraid to launch from deep. That's a pretty shot from White.
Yeah, and that's what he gained to LittleRock with the reputation of being as a strong outside shooter. Had spot minutes at SMU, but when you look back at some of his finer moments for the Mustangs, it usually came from beyond the 3-point arc.
LittleRock yet to lead in this ball game, trying to tie things up with a 3. Ben Coupette, we're going to get another foul, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Jovan Stulic. He can't believe the call.
I didn't have my eyes on the play, so I'm not sure what happened exactly, but here we go. We'll see the replay. Still couldn't quite tell, but Stulic didn't agree with the call, I can tell you that much.
I'll believe them. I'll take their word for it. They're closer than we are. I'll take their word for it. But the only man who couldn't believe it was Jovan Stulic, and A-State back on offense.
And we'll see how Arkansas State does with this 1-3-1. LittleRock has had some success in turning Arkansas State over with this defense already today.
They are not afraid to extend Root Munyon from the basket again. He's been known to full court press. He's at the top of the key. They're going to extend him, use him. As you can see, almost goes to the half court. We're going to get a foul inside. That was going to go against LittleRock.
And a good job there by Eaton of initiating the contact. He and Fields do such a good job of that for Arkansas State. Both of those guys got to the foul line last night. And when you're a player that can get to the foul line like that consistently, it raises your floor in terms of performance. It's helpful whenever you know you can get to the line and get some easy points.
Marquis Eaton so good for this Red Wolves squad. He's already up to 7 points, shooting a couple at the free throw line. And I've just been so impressed with A-State's ability to turn this thing around. You get a big sweep last weekend at Lafayette, then you get a huge win on Friday night against your rival. And this Sun Belt, it's wide open. Anybody can take it at this point.
Yeah, this is what you want. You're playing your best basketball at the right time of year. You have a guy like Eaton, who in my opinion is Arkansas State's best player, playing the best basketball of his career. If you're Coach Pilato, I think you're really happy with where your team is at and the way they're playing right now.
Should be a fun conference tournament down in Pensacola this season. Cannot wait to see who's going to come out of the Sun Belt. And again, this season is so strange. The West has only played the West. The East has only played the East. So a lot of these Sun Belt teams in the conference have not seen each other. As we've got a breakaway steal from Wesley. He's going to go up top and lay it in for A-State.
Super athletic play there by Wesley to jump the passing lane and come away with it. I thought Root Monyang was going to try to track him down, but Wesley athletic enough to pull away and finish at the rim.
A-State 4 of their last 5, and the Red Wolves trying to make. Coach is a smart man. Shout out to Coach Boyer. Missed that guy. Loved hearing him on the broadcast last night. Of course, the former Arkansas State women's head coach did great things in his time at Jonesboro and now enjoying life in Kansas City.
Yeah, he did a great job on the broadcast last night. Enjoyed listening to his insights on both teams.
That shot off the mark for Marquis. Not one of the few shots he hasn't knocked down. Marquis now 4 of 6 from the field. He's up to 8 points, and he leads the way for the Trojans as A-State trying to add to their lead. Knocked down 4 of the last 5.
The problem right now for LittleRock is Marquis has really been the only one to get anything going. 4 of 6 from the floor. No one else for LittleRock has hit more than 2 shots.
Yeah, Trojans just 36% from the field. Coupette, nice defense there, but man, A-State, they have just looked so comfortable early in this ball game with a 7-point lead. And they're trying to add to it. Deep 3 attempt to just beat the shot clock, but that's going to be a violation.
Good job there. I think it was Coupette of defending Willis on the 3-point try to guard without fouling. We'll see if LittleRock can settle into something on offense. Right now, it's just continue to struggle in terms of finding quality shots in the half court.
Well, and Darryl Walker, he could not stress it enough last night, and I got a chance to talk to him after the ball game. He's happy with the defense. They just have not been able to knock down shots. And again, today, so far, same story, different chapter.
Yeah, I think it's Mark Jackson, the NBA commentator, always says it's a make or miss league. And that's kind of how it is right now for LittleRock. If they're making shots like the shots they missed last night, if they shoot their normal percentage over the last 10 games, they probably have 4 or 5 more victories. But, you know, they're shooting low 40s as a team over that stretch, and as a result, they've really struggled.
The struggles continue. Hard to get your shooting percentage up when you can't attempt a shot as a turnover, but that's a good sign for A-State fans as well. As we mentioned, Caleb Fields went out of this ball game earlier. It looks like an ankle or a foot injury, but he is back in there, and if you're a Red Wolf fan, you're breathing deep sigh of relief to see him back in action.
You know, for a split second, I was almost like, it looks like he's wearing something on his foot. Then I realized his shoes are just like 2 different colors, or at least the inside of them were different colors. So I glanced down there and saw what I thought was tape, but no, it's just a white shoe and then a red shoe on the other foot.
I can't pull that off.
It's a bold style move for sure, but he makes it work.
Well, this guy makes everything work. Marquis Eaton drills another triple. He makes it a 10-point lead for A-State. Eaton, he's cooking. He's up to 12.
And LittleRock's just got to find an answer right now in offense. We'll see if they try to go back inside to Marquis. He has been their closest thing to a hot hand tonight.
7-0 run for the Red Wolves. They have looked very impressive so far. We creep up on under 2 minutes left in this ball game. C.J. White tries to match him for a 3, but Coupette Jr., right place, right time, gets the board, and then he gets the steal. And back outside, feed to Lukic. This building would have erupted. He's able to knock that down, but nice hustle from C.J. White. And that's what the Trojans have needed from Coupette. Get a big bucket, get a steal, get some momentum.
They need a spark right now. They need someone to make a play or start making some shots. They need someone to give them some momentum.
That's a nice feed from Munyon, but Marquis going to get called for the offensive foul, and he'll plead his case to no avail.
Yeah, Root Monyang didn't agree, made the entry pass as Marquis pushed off with the left hand. And if you're Monyang, you got to be careful. He had quite a display there. Lucky the officials didn't tee him up.
Smart move walking over to Darryl Walker. He'll let you talk a little bit. He won't tee you up as he walks away. But, again, sort of the same story for LittleRock. 4 turnovers over the last 4 minutes, and you try to build some momentum. Coupette, great bucket, great steal, but A-State, again, just not letting off the throttle.
No, Arkansas State's defense has made LittleRock look uncomfortable in the half court as Arkansas State turns it over. Both of these teams have had issues, yeah. Arkansas State, that's their 10th turnover. LittleRock already has 8. So neither one of these teams have done a great job of taking care of the ball. The difference is that Arkansas State shot 61% while LittleRock shot 38%.
Well, here's Ben Coupette from the corner. That one off the market. And you wonder if fatigue plays a little bit of a factor. Again, these two teams played last night in Jonesboro. A-State making the trip down to LittleRock. And this guy thought Thought Willis was able to get it to go. Instead, it's off the mark. He didn't show any signs of fatigue on that drive as Ben Coupette comes out of there with it. Chance at a 2-for-1 for the Trojans, but they go inside to Munyon, and Munyon able to draw the foul from big fella Jackson.
And Munyon got the call, but is still chirping to the official about something. I'm not sure what. As Wesley will check back in for Arkansas State.
You can see the frustration for Munyon. 3 straight losses, high expectations for this team coming into the season. And it's been a great season individually for Munyon, but the wins have just not been there like they were in 2019.
It really, a lot of it, it's never as simple as one thing, but I tend to agree with Coach Walker last night. Right now, they're just not hitting shots.
Well, that'll release some frustration as Munyon able to get it to go, and it's a 6-point ball game, and A-State can hold it for the last shot. They're waiting on somebody to inbound the ball as the clock ticks away, and we see a full court press from Little Rock. That was a strange sequence. A-State looking for somebody, Wesley in particular, to inbound the ball, and finally they get it, and Munyon with just a silly foul at half court.
I was about to say, speaking of strange sequence there, just not a smart play by Munyon. And I think it will send Marquis Eaton to the foul line. I'm not sure what Munyon was thinking on that one. Runs into Eaton.
One of those moments where you think you're going to get a breakaway dunk before the end of the half. Instead, you get tripped up, and that's a rare mental error from Munyon. But again, the guy you don't want to send to the line is Eaton. It's going to be an easy couple of free throws.
Yeah, going to send a guy to the foul line who made 7 of 7 last night, and as we have mentioned several times already, is known for playing some really good offensive basketball in this building.
How impressed with you are Eaton? Just his ability to go out, play a lot of minutes on a Friday night, obviously score for the Red Wolves, and then he comes out and it's like he's not missing a beat.
Well, I think last night, sort of an underrated thing that he did that I thought was super impressive was in that first half, he had teammates who were hitting shots. He didn't necessarily look for his own shot. And then the second half, he took over, had 14 of his 17 points, had this roster. But it's been a different kind of year in terms of the way the schedule's been set up and the way you're able to practice.
5 seconds left as Coupette brings it up the floor, trying to give Little Rock any sort of life, and that one rejected by the Red Wolves, and it has been a very impressive first half for the Arkansas.
There is a source of optimism for the Trojans, is that their last 2 games, they have played very well in the second half. Shot 60+% at Texas State in the second half in the loss, and then shot 50+% in yesterday's loss in Jonesboro. We'll see if Little Rock can find their offensive groove here in half 2.
A-State trying to keep that momentum going. That's not going to get it done, though, as O'Meara called for the offensive foul and then falls over Root Munyon.
Yeah, a little too bullish there on the drive. Got his shoulder, his forearm into Munyon, and is called for the offensive foul.
Get another look at it here, and it looked like O'Meara extended the right elbow, and Munyon gets the charge.
That is a call I will say the officials have made. I think they've done a good job of letting both teams play tonight, but that offensive foul call, that extended arm, is something they have called consistently tonight.
And for Little Rock, really in search of a true point guard, C.J. White running the one most of the ball game, and less than 30 seconds into this second half, we got 2 quick fouls on the Red Wolves.
Yeah, Wesley got his hands on Munyon there as Munyon put the ball on the floor. Another quick whistle for the Red Wolves.
Little Rock trying to heat up again. They've lost 3 consecutive ball games, trying to get back on track. That's going to help. A deep 3 for Marco Lukic as he hits the triple.
And he had that huge second half at Texas State in the loss in overtime. Got hot from the 3-point line at San Marcos.
Boy, did he ever. Trojans trailed by as many as 23 in that ball game. Battled all the way back to force overtime, but too much Bobcats as they ended up winning that ball game by 10. And Little Rock trying to crawl back into this conference standing, and that's not going to help as it goes off Munyon. And it's been a frustrating half for Root.
Yeah, a tough break right there for Munyon. Came down with the rebound and just went off his own knee out of bounds. Will give Arkansas State another shot at it.
A-State very efficient so far in this ball game, shooting 55% from the field. They've also been really good from beyond the arc and also really good in the paint as well, as Willis gets the easy layup.
Yeah, get an easy one there on the out-of-bounds play. They got an easy one last night, or at least got to the foul line on a similar play. It was a lob, but well-designed baseline out-of-bounds from Mike Bellato.
Christian Willis now up to 5 points has been Coupette off the mark. A-State able to run Eaton over to Willis for another tray, and all of a sudden, A-State back up 10.
And Willis, after a tough night shooting the ball on Friday, has knocked down a couple three-pointers here in this one at the Eaton Center.
Red Wolves looking very efficient in the second half. That one off of the mark as A-State trying to add to their lead. Lukic just knocked down that triple. And man, these Red Wolves are red hot as Caleb Fields gets in on the scoring. That's his first bucket of the afternoon.
And if you're Little Rock, you got to be careful. This game is on the verge of getting away from you with the way Arkansas State has played the last couple games.
That is an 8-0 run for the Red Wolves in less than a minute, and A-State are seeing blood in the water right now, trying to extend their lead up 13. They played so well last night in Jonesboro, and man, they have carried it over today.
And we'll see what Little Rock goes to here. They're in a position where they need a basket.
Been that kind of afternoon for Root Munyon. Got a great look at it, not able to get it to go. A-State out of there with it is Marquis Eaton. It's been so good for A-State in this ball game, up to 14 points, 4 of 5 from the field. C.J. White picks up Eaton, and he'll pull it out and reset.
And Root's still frustrated after that last play as Eaton gets a decent look from three, but Munyon's got to regroup and forget about that missed layup.
Well, if he would have hit that, it would have heard it all the way from Jonesboro. As Eaton has been on fire so far. Munyon able to get the offensive board, and he'll draw the contact.
Munyon barrels into his own teammate there, Nicola Marich. Will send Root to the foul line where he has yet to, or excuse me, 1 of 2 from the foul stripe so far today.
I thought they were going to get Marich for the foul, but you can't foul your own team, can you? Is that right?
I don't think they call those.
No.
No, but Munyon, a guy who in his career at Little Rock has struggled from the foul stripe. Last night was 3 of 6, but in Sunbelt play this season has really improved his percentage. Let's see if he can keep the momentum at the foul stripe. Not sure what the conversation is right now between the officials and the coaches.
Looks like we're reviewing who the foul was on. Mike Bellato pleading his case as we discussed it again. The foul was originally charged to Norshad O'Meara. That would have been his 4th personal, would have been really big, and I think that's who they're going to get with the left hand is O'Meara, but they'll take a look at it as
see Eaton there with a smart senior play, knowing the situation, immediately puts up the right hand to say the foul's on him. And my guess is that's what they're trying to decide. But, hey, I'm with you just looking at that replay. I thought it was O'Meara who got his hands on Munyon.
Oh, you said it. That foul definitely on O'Meara, but Marquis Eaton trying to play the veteran card there. I'll pick up the foul. Marquis only with 1 so far this ball game, but that call will stay with O'Meara. And again, with 17 minutes left in this ball game, O'Meara up to 4 fouls. And we'll see if Coach Bellato decides to stick with him.
Savvy veteran attempt by Eaton. One of the few things that have not gone his way tonight. He's 4 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3, and has made all his free throws. Playing another outstanding game here at the Jack Stevens Center.
Root Munyon will shoot 2, and we've got about 4 different Red Wolves at the scorer's table. So we'll see who all checks in here. Is Munyon able to knock down the first? And yeah, O'Meara will check out of this ball game with 4 fouls. And that's Jackson checking in for the Red Wolves, along with Feltz, who's had a nice afternoon.
So Arkansas State was up 13 before that foul on O'Meara. We'll see how things go with O'Meara on the bench with 4 personals. We'll see if Little Rock is able to get anything going in the paint with O'Meara on the bench.
Munyon able to knock down both free throws as the Little Rock faithful tries to energize their Trojans again. Down 11, Munyon up to 7 points in this ball game. Marich leading the way for the Trojans with 8. It has been tough sledding for Little Rock in this ball game. Marquis Eaton, spin move, thought about pulling up, decides to go to the short corner, off of the glass and in, and Eaton has been special today.
Man, that was just unbelievable ball handling and shot making there by Marquis Eaton. Just an excellent offensive play. Good defense, better offense.
Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. I don't know what the basketball equivalence for that is. Maybe a little head nod or tuck your jersey as C.J. White pulls up, draws the contact from the free throw line.
And Little Rock has been able to draw some fouls on Arkansas State this half. That's going to be the 4th whistle on the Red Wolves here in about 3.5 minutes of second half play.
Just a beautiful move off of the glass and in. And how many times have we said it and talked about it? This is a home away from home for Marquis Eaton.
Just continues to shoot the ball extremely well here. Again, came into today's game shooting almost 80% from the three-point line in 3 games at Jack Stevens Center. He's 2 of 3 from 3 today and shooting, I want to say, right around 60% from the floor. He's 5 of 7 from the floor, just getting it done.
Even more impressive for the Red Wolves, they've been able to do it without Marquis Davis, who's missing this ball game. And again, the former Jonesboro Hurricane, Marquis Eaton, has been everything and more for the Red Wolves as he leads the way with 16 points. But Little Rock cuts the lead back down to 12 as we creep up on the first media timeout.
Right now, Little Rock's just going to have to string together some stops in the second half. Arkansas State is 4 of 6, shooting almost 70% from the floor since the break.
Shot clock winding down for the Red Wolves. Eaton drives, rejected by Munyon. That time Eaton not able to get it to go. Great defense from Little Rock as Munyon down the floor and with the flush. That'll ignite the crowd.
A way to run the floor there by Root Munyon, and a great feed by C.J. White to catch him in transition.
Root Munyon, you can sense a little frustration during this ball game. Let some out with that dunk. It's a 10-point ball game as Trojans able to convert some defense into offense, but not much defense for that guy right now. Another beautiful shot from Marquis Eaton. He's up really good tandem down low, but he can do it all.
Yeah, he would fit in with any team. You know, he's that kind of player. He doesn't need the ball in his hands a lot on offense. Always plays good defense away from the basket and around the rim. Just a really good player.
They would love to get him going late in this ball game as Little Rock trails by 12 with 15 minutes to go. And deep 3-ball attempt. That one way off the mark from Lukic.
And Lukic knocked down a 3 early in the half, but since has missed a couple of good looks from 3-point range.
Well, I know we've been here a while, but we got to...
2 games by combined 10 points. 4 in the first matchup, 6 in the second. So Little Rock is going to have to bring its A games against both Louisiana opponents.
Well, Monroe, no pushover anymore. It seemed like almost an automatic victory, but then they take care of business against Lafayette. They looked great in that first game.
Coach Richard always has that team playing good basketball this time of year. He is a heck of a coach.
A-State trying to add to their lead as Phelps thought about pulling up for 3, decides to dish outside to Willis. Willis drive over to Eaton. This guy has been so effective from the elbow, and why stop now?
Is there a magnet in that basketball in the bottom of the net? I mean, when he has the ball in his hands, it's just, at this point, I assume it's going down. He's incredible in this arena.
Folks, he is up to 20 points. Marquis Eaton shooting 70% from the field. He's taken 10 shots. He's knocked down 7 of them. He's 2 or 3 from beyond the arc. He's hit 4 free throws, and I'm sure he's going to serve the team dinner. Or
Might fuel up the bus on the way home.
Yeah, sure, why not?
The guy's had a full evening on his plate.
We've got a foul call inside, and they're going to get Eaton that one on the floor. And this guy, he's just unbelievable. His ability to not only knock down shots, but his ability to create shots.
Yeah, he's doing it from everywhere. I mean, he's doing it at all 3 levels as Magnon gets loose there, not able to convert in the paint. But it's not easy if you're Eaton. Coming in this weekend shooting 60% over 3 years in this building, and his percentage might go up after this game.
Wide open, corner 3 from Phelps, and he knocks it down, and A-State pouring it on at this point, up 17.
And it's danger zone territory for Little Rock right now. Down 17 points with under 14 minutes to go and just having trouble getting anything on offense.
7-0 run for Red Wolves. And as I say it, C.J. White able to knock down a triple, and they need a lot more of those as Little Rock will try to climb back in this ball game.
Yeah, right now, this isn't, great basketball analysis, but Little Rock needs somebody to get hot. They need somebody to start making some outside shots because they have to do something to keep that defense from collapsing on Root Magnon and Nicola Marich in the paint.
Well, you said it too. C.J. White, again, 9 points already. He got the start. Has not started a ton for Little Rock this season. He's just 3 of 11 from the field, and that's a rare miss from Eaton as that one's off the mark.
Feels like a glitch in the game there whenever he misses that shot.
You're not kidding. Munyon tries to get the board as Lukic is off the mark with it. We're running now as Wesley goes inside. He lays it up and in with the finger roll. One of the and one. Doesn't get the call.
Yeah, nice, athletic, and skilled play there. Puts the ball on the floor, fakes the pass, and smooth finish with the right hand.
A-State shooting 61% from the field. They're 7 of 11 from downtown. And you know what? Make it 8 of 12. Marquis Eaton. What else do you say at this point?
He's been incredible. Arkansas State in the second half, 8 of 12 from the floor, almost 70% since halftime.
He's been so good as LittleRock was able to answer and get a stop. Now in transition, the feed over to Ben Coupet. He throws it down. Now Trojans trying to find a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, nice pass there by Marco Lukic to hit Coupet in transition. LittleRock, it feels like they should be down by more than 11 points. It feels like Arkansas State should have a bigger lead with the way they've shot the ball, but LittleRock is hanging around with under 12 minutes to play.
Well, as C.J. White, as you said, needed to provide a spark, and he's done just that as he hit those back-to-back threes, and now off the miss, Root Munyon up ahead to White. The feed inside to Marquis, tried to make Sports Center, but instead it's off the mark, and Lukic, right place, right time. And I feel like A-State was up 17 just about 2 minutes ago, and all of a sudden, 9-point ball game.
Yeah, I was ready to put the nail in the coffin just a minute ago with Arkansas State looking so smooth on offense. Suddenly, LittleRock is hitting shots, and Arkansas State is having some issues with this pressure.
7-0 run for LittleRock over the past minute. Eaton trapped, able to get the timeout, and it's been back and forth.
Player in this arena for the Red Bulls.
Well, I'm sure he's going to get all of about 30 seconds of rest before checking back into this ball game. But this guy, Root Munyon, no rest for him as he gets the steal and throws it down.
And Root Munyon trying to will Littlerock back into this game, playing with a ton of energy for the Trojans.
Root Munyon up to 11 points after that dunk. And now we've got a travel on Phelps, and all of a sudden a little bit of momentum for the Trojans. A 12-2 run over the past 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like 20 seconds ago that Arkansas State was up 17 points, and we were saying that it was looking dire for Little Rock. Suddenly the Trojans have the momentum.
What do they call this, Patrick? A rivalry. They call it a rivalry, and it's getting closer and closer as that Marco Lukic shot hit every single part of the rim, and it's a 7-point ball game.
And everyone knows these games are destined to be close. Little Rock, Arkansas State games almost always come down to the wire.
So much scoring. I'm going back from the monitor to looking to the floor to the stat sheet. It seemed like this was at a snail's pace at one point in the first half, and now these teams are running. And as we mentioned, Trojans on a 14-2 run. They've hit 5 of their last 5, and as Darrell Walker wants it, defense creating offense.
Yeah, the pressure for Little Rock right now is having an effect on Arkansas State. The Red Wolves have a number of turnovers in this game.
Trojans showing the pressure as they trap Phelps. He's able to get it out to Willis, and Willis will just reset here as A-State, again, led by 17 just about 2 minutes ago, and Little Rock is on an 11-0 run.
Fields handling the ball. Now, it's had a quiet night. See if he looks to get going. Had that, couldn't tell what it was, but exited with a brief injury in the first half.
Caleb Fields has been so good for this ball club all season long. As Willis, nice drive, and he's able to get the foul on Marich.
And what both these teams do well is get to the foul line. And that's such a weapon whenever you're trying to stop another team's run. You know, whenever you can get into the paint and draw contact and slow the game down and get to the foul line and score a couple points. Both of these teams do a really good job of that.
Willis off the mark on this one. The red shirt senior has been so good for A-State this season and has brought so much energy for the Red Wolves. He's been a really nice spark and try to get things going for A-State. Again, trying to climb back in this crazy Sun Belt Conference.
Willis shot the ball especially well from three-point range. Shout out to Mark Taylor, Arkansas State's SID. He started his career 10 of 38 from three. Since then, he's 46 of 98, almost 47%. Has really turned it around in terms of his outside shooting.
Oh, hi, Mark. Mark Taylor
Does
helped me with
job.
so many stats over the years. Love that guy. He's done such great work in Jonesboro. He's been so good. And Willis off the mark with that second free throw. And I can't believe we're saying this, Patrick. A 5-point ball game. And, again, how the Trojans have been able to cut this lead on 11-0 run. It's been really, really good.
Little Rock's hit its last 5 shots while Arkansas State has not made a bucket in almost 3 minutes.
C.J. White, step back three, and that one, air ball here inside the Jack Stevens Center. Phelps out of there with it. A-State trying to hang on to this lead. They're going to get Stulich with the foul.
Yeah, that shot by White, probably not what Coach Walker was looking for there. Little Rock, either way, they've got to get some stops. Arkansas State, as we mentioned, hadn't scored in almost 3 minutes. But for the game, the Red Wolves still shooting well north of 50%.
Scoring drought creeping up on 3 minutes for A-State as they'll inbound it to Marquis Eaton, the Mr. Do-It-All so far in the second half. He's been tremendous for Arkansas State. They'll try to add to their lead.
Yeah, we haven't had many situations in this game or periods where Arkansas State has had trouble scoring.
That's a nice drive inside for Farrington. He's able to stop the scoring drought for the Red Wolves, and they go back up 51-44.
And we'll see if Little Rock can regain some momentum here, if they'll try to go back inside the Marquis or continue from the outside.
The drive and the finish inside from Lukic, and they wanted the foul, didn't get it, but again, he had that huge second half last week to get Little Rock back into the ball game, and he's starting to heat up here.
And he's one of those guys who's such a good outside shooter, and he lives at the three-point line. Sometimes you'll see an opponent overplay that three-point look, and he's able to get into the paint as he did there and finish with the right hand.
Little Rock 6 of their last 7 on a 13-2 run over the past 3 minutes. And Red Wolves going to go back to their main scorer, Marquis Eaton, back out to Farrington. He'll launch a deep three. That one off of the mark, and Little Rock trying to cut this down even more. Bit of a juggle for the three ball. No problem at all for Lukic. He's up to 14, and it's a 2-point ball game.
Lukic in the second half. I believe that's his 12th point since the break. 12 of his 14 since halftime.
This game has turned on a dime, and what else would you expect when Arkansas State and Little Rock get together?
It is, it's a tradition. These two teams have played so many close games over the years.
Felts inside, wanted the foul, didn't get it, but a great finish inside from Avery Felts.
Showing off the hops. Technically, I'm giving him a dunk on that. He went up with it, grabbed the rim. It wasn't a classic throwdown, but got it to drop.
Probably would have got a goaltending if he didn't get the bucket, but this time Wesley and Marquis get tangled up, and they'll get Wesley with the foul.
And the Trojans just, after showing little to no life on the offensive end for most of the game, suddenly 7 of their last 8 from the floor. Shooting the ball well from the three-point line. A lot of it thanks to the hot hand of Marco Lukic.
Substitution now for the Red Wolves as Jackson Willis will check back into the ball game again. It was all A-State at the tail end of the second half, at the beginning, or tail end of the first half, I should say. And here in the second half, led by as many as 17. And Little Rock has cut it down to 4. And Trojans all of a sudden trying to get back into this ball game. That's a good way to do it inside the Munyon.
Got the ball deep in the post there. Good job there by Marco Lukic to recognize that Root Munyon had the position. Finds him with a nice feed.
Again, A-State led by 17 with 13:55 left in the second half. And now Little Rock with a chance to tie or take the lead.
As Lukic dribbles the ball up the floor and try to get it back inside to Nikola Maric.
C.J. White trying to give Little Rock the lead, and he does just that. All of a sudden, the Trojans with their first lead of this ball game.
What a run by Little Rock. From down 17 to up 1.
A-State breaking the press, and they do just that as Jackson goes inside, and A-State takes the lead right back.
Well, not the classic way to break the press, but effective. Jackson does a good job of letting both defenders fly by him and lays it in.
Whew, still 7.5 minutes left in this ball game as we go back and forth. Man, it has been a fun one over the past few minutes of this one. They go back inside to Munyon. Munyon over to Maric. Maric able to get it and the foul.
What a run by Little Rock over.
He's got to figure out a way to slow down these Trojans. They are 5 of their last 5 as Nikola Maric tries to complete the three-point play. And it can't be stressed enough how much this game has turned in the last 5 minutes.
Now, the game is totally flipped on its head over the last 5 or 6 minutes. Little Rock went from, not even being able to find clean looks in the half court on offense to hitting everything.
Trojans outscoring the Red Wolves by 9 here in the second half, and they've looked very impressive doing it. Maric unable to finish the three-point play. And Trojans go back to their man, Eaton. That one, a rare miss off the mark, and Munyon able to come out of there with it. He
couldn't get that one to drop, but I was just about to say, if there's any point guard that I would like to have on my team in this situation, it's Eaton. He's steady. He's seen this for 4 years. He's been in a lot of these games. He's not going to be scared of this moment.
Marquis has been the focal point for this A-State offense. Again, 20 points for Eaton. Willis has added 8 as well. And all of a sudden, a lot of different Trojans heating up as Maric goes back outside to White, drives the left hand, and not able to knock it down. Willis gets the board.
Surprised White didn't take that 3 from the top of the key. Looked like he had a good look and then dribbled into a contested mid-range shot.
Eaton with 15 on the shot clock, drives inside. Munyon with the challenge. Nice feed and a finish inside for Willis.
Great cut there by Willis along the baseline, and a good feed by Willis up to, by Eaton up to 5 assists.
A-State back in front, 57-56, 5.5 minutes to go here inside Little Rock. Man, it has been a fun ball game, fun second half. Is great defense from the Red Wolves, but Little Rock able to maintain possession outside over to Lukic, tries to hit the three. That one off of the mark, and Jackson, nice rebound.
And Lukic has been feast or famine this half. He's made several threes, but has tossed up a couple air balls as well.
Farrington, three-point attempt, and he's able to knock it down.
What an answer by Arkansas State. Back-to-back buckets to regain the lead.
Little Rock went on that big run to take the lead, and A-State not going away quietly. They're back up 4 and been very impressed with the Red Wolves' response. The ability to match Little Rock blow for blow is Munyon going to work inside. He's not afraid to try and get challenged, and they're going to get A-State with the personal foul, and that's the big fella, Zar Grobovich, who checked into this ball game again. We knew Davis was going to miss. Marquis Davis out for the Red Wolves, and Grobovich is going to need to play some minutes here in the second half, and he picks up his first foul.
Yeah, he gets the whistle there. Looked like he played decent defense on Munyon there. Root gets the whistle and will go to the foul line, but looked like Grobovich did a decent job of staying straight up on that play. May have gotten him with the body.
Munyon unable to get the friendly roll here at home and misses the first free throw attempt. And Munyon is, as we mentioned, a slow start to this ball game, but boy, is he coming on. 13 points, 5 of 9 from the field. He's only 5 boards away from another double-double.
Yeah, very similar to his story last night in Jonesboro. Had 9 of his 11 points in the second half of last night's loss.
Unable to connect on those 2 free throws, and Eaton goes right to the bucket. And Marquis called for the personal foul, and that's exactly the recipe for success if you're the Red Wolves.
And if you're Little Rock, if you have one thing that you in your favor right now, you don't have a lot of foul issues. That's going to be the third on Nicola Marich, Munyon with 3, Coupette with 3, but Little Rock does not have a single player with 4 personals with 4.5 minutes to go.
Now you wonder if those free throws will loom large as we come down the stretch here in Little Rock. Again, Munyon, he's had his struggles at the lines at time, and obviously missed those 2. He's 3 of 6 so far for the ball game. Then on the other end, Jinx Eaton, who was a perfect 4 for 4 before that free throw.
Now that's something that you almost never see, because Marquis Eaton missing a free throw was 7 of 7 last night in the win in Jonesboro.
2.5 minute scoring drought for the Trojans as Eaton able to knock down the second free throw, and A-State back up 5 as Wesley will check back into the ball game for Jackson.
Little Rock needs to settle back in on offense. Arkansas State has scored the last 6 points.
Creeping up on our final media timeout. Again, it has been a fun one in this second half. A-State with a 61-56 lead. Nicola Marich got tangled up from Munyon to White. Back outside to Lukic, and Lukic off the mark.
Couldn't get it to fall. Lukic has been the hot hand for the Trojans in the second half.
Great feed inside from Eaton. He's doing it all. Wesley couldn't put on the brakes. Gets it back outside. 3-point attempt, and that one way off the mark for Farrington.
Yeah, I wonder if Lukic got a hand on that. You don't see Farrington throw up many air balls.
TJ White penetration. Almost runs right into Nicola. Instead, Nicola calls for it, and he'll go to work. Back inside. He loves that left hand. Goes to it. Off the mark at Eaton. Get the instructions from Mike Bellato. Again, it's a 6-0 run for the Red Wolves over the past couple of minutes. They trailed, back up 5. 3:30 left to play in this ball game. Munyon, he did it in the first half, tried to go for the steal again. That one off the mark from Grobovich. And these guys may be leaning a little bit, getting tired, trying to finish this ball game. Ben Coupette comes out of there with it. Trojans trying to get an answer. They haven't scored in nearly 4 minutes.
I'm getting tired just watching them right now. These guys have been up and down the floor.
Coupette from way downtown. He's able to end the drought, and all of a sudden we're back to a 2-point ball game.
And Coupette knocked down 5 triples last night for Little Rock. His first of the game tonight.
Ben Coupette up to 7 points, just 1 of 4 from downtown. He's 3 of 9 from the field. He has been on the floor a lot. He's played 37 minutes. You know, he's got to be a little tired after that ball game yesterday, too.
Well, he's an Iron Man for this team. They need him to do so many things.
Eaton with the mismatch, and that is just what he does. He's able to knock it down from inside the key.
Big time shot there from a big time player. He is playing as well as any player in the Sun Belt Conference right now.
Marquis Eaton up to 23 points in this ball game. He has been fantastic for the Red Wolves. It's getting down to it for the Trojans. Nice feed from Marquis over to Munyon. And really nice job by Willis not to pick up the foul, but knock it out of bounds. And boy, do we.
That was a fantastic game. And that was a heck of an Arkansas State team. They lost to a really good Georgia State team, if I remember right, the very next day in the Sun Belt tournament.
Well, as someone who was a student at Arkansas State at the time, it was a great time. Patrick and I have been on both sides of this rivalry as Little Rock calls a timeout. And, man, that's just the fun thing about growing up here in this. You can catch that ball game at 6:30 right here on ESPN+. And this would be a big win for Little Rock, able to snap a losing streak if they can do it. And it would be big for Darrell Walker's team as Nicola Maric rarely goes to the right, and that's exactly what he did on that one, able to draw the contact.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Almost never see that. If you are, I'm sure if you look at the scouting report, it'd sit on that left hand, and that's going to foul out O'Meara for Arkansas State.
That's a big loss for the Red Wolves as we get down the stretch. O'Meara, quiet afternoon for him. Again, only took 2 shots, but he hit both of them, finished with 4 points and 6 boards, and he's been a double-double machine, just not this afternoon.
Yeah, had 11 and 11 last night to go along with a couple steals, a couple block shots. If you're Arkansas State, you miss his production. He's been so consistent for them this year. Going to have to play the final 2 minutes here without him.
Good news for the Red Wolves. Marquis Eaton, 23 points. He has been so effective. He has been the offense. He has been the catalyst that has got this thing going for A-State. And on the other side of that, Nicola Maric, a big second half as he gets a chance to knock down a couple of free throws.
Up to 10 points, Nicola Maric.
Megan 11.
Little Rock now with 4 players in double figures, and Ben Coupette is not far too behind with 7. Eaton, as Hayden just said, leading the way with 23 for Arkansas State. Christian Willis has 10 as the only other Red Wolf in double figures.
Nicola Maric trying to cut this down to a 2-point ball game as we are creeping up on 2 minutes left to play. We have got a fun finish coming up. And, man, this thing looked like it was going to be over about midway through the second half, but Little Rock has battled back, and Marquis Eaton has been so special for the Red Wolves as he tries to complete the season sweep.
Great job there at Eaton. I mean, catching the ball underneath his own basket and just breaking the pressure with a straight line drive.
Jackson comes up to set the screen. Eaton driving, and they're going to get Ben Coupette with his 4th personal foul.
And that's going to be the 5th team foul in Little Rock. So Arkansas State not shooting free throws yet. Little Rock will be in the double bonus with every whistle the rest of the way.
Now still 1:45 left to play in this one. Of course, the women's game went into overtime earlier today. Could we see 2? It's a possibility, but still a lot of time left in the second half. It's Marquis Eaton will reset for the Red Wolves.
You got a feeling you're going to be seeing a lot of this the rest of the way. Marquis Eaton handling the ball, initiating the offense.
Munyon steps out near half court, picks up Eaton over to Willis. The drive as he tries to get the finish, can't get it. Big board from Jackson inside, wanted the contact and gets the finish just before the shot clock.
What a sequence. Devastating for Little Rock not to get that offensive rebound, but great hustle to stick with it on the inside by Jackson.
Well, we just talked about how big of a loss it was for O'Meara, but Jackson steps up in a big way for the Red Wolves, and as I praise him, he gets called for the reach in.
Yeah, a little too aggressive there with the hands. Easy call for the officials, but on the other end, he just does a great job of fighting for this rebound. Doesn't get the first putback, but the second one drops.
You can see that A-State bench going absolutely nuts. They wanted a foul call inside. We're hoping for an and one, but instead, on the other end, Nicola Maric will go in. Trojans now in the double bonuses. He'll get 2.
Yeah, I think if you're Arkansas State, you got a point. I did think that there was a lot of contact on that putback, but late in games like this, a lot of times you'll see officials swallow their whistles in the paint.
Saw Mike Bellato with the Apple Watch there. I wonder what the heart rate, if it's monitoring what it's at right now.
Elevated, I'm sure.
Elevated heart rate. Coach Bellato trying to get his Red Wolves a 4th consecutive victory, 5 out of their last 6. They have been playing great basketball as of late, but still a lot of unfinished business left here at the Jack Stevens Center as it's a 2-point ball game.
And Little Rock will break out the full court press here. We'll see how Arkansas State handles it.
Well, they have got Willis trapped, and he nearly throws it away. In fact, he did throw it away as Eaton had his foot on the line. It'll go back to Little Rock.
And obviously, this is not, great basketball X's and O's here on my part, but you're trying to inbound the ball there by Eaton. A great job by Little Rock to force the ball out of his hands, and Willis commits the turnover. If you're Little Rock right now, you want to try to force Arkansas State to inbound the ball to anybody else but Marquis Eaton.
14 turnovers for A-State thus far, and it's a good call by the officials as the replay showed Eaton's foot on the line. And here we go, C.J. White nearly turned it over himself. They go inside to Marquis, and Eaton with the help defense. Marquis backing down Jackson, trying to tie this ball game up. Goes to that left hand and gets it to go.
He is just so effective. Not bad defense at all there by Jackson in the post. Just better offense by Marquis to get to that right shoulder and left hand.
And Mike Bellato wants a timeout, and we're going to catch our breath here. Full court press at least early on. And this would be one for the record books if Coach Walker's team can storm all the way back and get a win, and they inbound it to Felts. And here we go.
They get the ball to Eaton, who's obviously their most reliable ball handler against this freshman.
Munyon on Felts. Little Rock wanted the travel, did not get it, and Eaton 15 seconds on the shot clock. And here we go. He's picked up by Coupette, the screen from Jackson. Eaton, step back triple. He's blocked by Coupette, but didn't initially get the ball. 4 seconds left as Willis fires it up and hits it with 1 second left. Here we go.
What a shot by Willis, and great defense by Coupette there to make the initial block.
8 seconds left. C.J. White down 2, trying to give Little Rock a much-needed victory as White pulls up from 3, launches that one off the mark, and that is all she wrote. Arkansas State comes in.